and welcome to Capital Exclusive.
Thank you very much.
For today's symposium, we want to find out, do you think that it's relevant to modern day Ghana, I would say?
Oh yes, very, very relevant. Danquah is most relevant. He's a model for the youth in many ways. Danquah worked hard as a private student to prepare himself from Standard 7 to O-level, advanced level, and to qualify for University of London, all by private correspondence. When he failed, and he used to say it, he tried again because he was his own teacher. It is a lesson to the youth. Never give up. Even if you are in the remotest village, go on trying and trying and trying to learn. Because the world has become a place whereby if you don't have knowledge, in fact, your human value is very low. That is one important lesson. So let us really rise to the highest levels of education, because the human being is the first value so far as Ghana is concerned. That is our human capital. Secondly, when he went to Britain, he got his degrees in no time, having worked hard, got his PhD, got his LLB, BL, and then he came back home to serve his people. He served in every area that law could be used to serve the people. Particularly, he was lawyer for the farmers in their struggle against the colonial authorities. He helped them so much voluntarily that they gave him the accolade, Ekwafu Kania, a light unto the farmers. And that was real greatness. It is also worthy of emulation. Young lawyers, we all love the briefs that the big companies give unto us, the oil companies, the insurance companies, the banks. But please turn also and look after the Kayaye, the woman who has been thrown out of a marital home because the man is dead. Go to court, defend them free of charge. That is a true spirit of Danquah. As a lawyer, he became the first president of the Ghana Bar Association. That alone is greatness. He became the first editor of the Ghana Law Review. How do you forget a man like that? And that should tell us what those who do something for their country should be remembered for. His motto was service to God and service to man. I was privileged to have met him once about the age of 10 in my father's house. Very fine gentleman, well behaved, spoke and behaved with equanimity and respect. You can't just forget a person like that. But in terms of relevance, let me read something to you, which he said in the Legislative Council in 1947. This was what he said at the Legislative Council in 1947, quoting for the official Hansard, and I quote, he was asking a question to the Colonial Secretary. He said, would government consider the appointment of a national committee to inquire into the possibilities of a Volta Basin Corporation to develop the resources of the river for light, water, and power, and to exploit for public benefit the vast resources of the Volta Basin? In 1947, Danquah was talking about the Volta Basin Corporation, what later on became known as the Volta River Authority. 1947. He said it. And he was asking the Colonial Secretary to do this. The Colonial Secretary said, in present circumstances, no, sir. That was the reply officially. What the imperialist guy thought was not possible, later Nkrumah made possible. But that shows that when you give credit to Nkrumah for working to have the Volta River Authority and project, we must also remember the man who conceptualized this as early as 1947. When Nkrumah became leader of government business, Danquah once more in 1953 raised that matter at the assembly about the need for us to do this project. Who is this guy? A nationalist with a vision who thought about our energy, about our education, about agriculture, and other respects. When the British, about this time, wanted to have one university college for the people of British West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, those of us who were part of the British West Africa, and they made the proposal and brought it down. Danquah was the man who stood against it. And he made a brilliant speech in the assembly in the same way that they must know that the Ghanaians are not Nigerians or Sierra Leoneans. Ghanaians are Ghanaians. We want our own university. And in fact, it was a time when he quoted our per capita income as the highest in Africa outside white South Africa. So if we are asking for a university college, how dare you say that you are going to combine us with Nigeria? That was Danquah speaking, a nationalist speaking, a man who could take the British on, word for word, argument for argument, an analytical way of approaching the subject. And Danquah advocated in the assembly. He wrote to the British government by letters and telegram. After he wanted to write you a fine letter. And he sent representation. And he wrote in his newspaper. He was a journalist, lawyer, everything. At the end of the day, the British came to accept his proposition. And that is how they came to establish the University College of the Gold Coast at Achimota. Later on was moved to Legon. And then it became autonomous as the University of Ghana. So when we talk about university education, the father of it in Ghana is Dr. J.B. Danquah.
So then would you say that Dr. Danquah's memory is not being preserved as it should be?
It's unfortunate, my dear young lady, that sometimes we allow propaganda to destroy our nation. If you talk about even the man who was the first president of the Ghana Bar, that even is a great achievement. And all this should let us know that sometimes we must learn the realities of history. I personally, I don't like propaganda. Because, you see, they becloud the hemisphere. So I acknowledge, for example, the greatness of Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah did a lot. He was a man of vision. His educational policy was very wonderful. And so on and so forth. What Danquah conceptualized, he put into action. Is that not also greatness? But what does Nkrumah have to be great so that Danquah should have no credit? It doesn't have to be. And that's the mistake I'm telling you some people make. They think that you have to destroy somebody before somebody gets his credit. But this is what it is on record. Hansard and all. So we must give everybody his due regard. And I believe that will make our nation even greater.
Sir, you've said a lot. But there is this rumor, or people are alleging, that Dr. Danquah is not who he is. I mean, what everybody is trying to make the public believe is it's not the way it is. An example is on the day of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's overthrow, it is alleged that Dr. Danquah was just minutes away from the Flagstaff House with a prepared speech. What is your take on that?
This is typical of propaganda. On 24 February 1966, when I was at that time a student in the University of Ghana, 24 February 1966, second year honors student, president of Oquaye Hall. At that time, Danquah was dead and buried. Factually, in terms of the chronology of events that cannot be reversed, Danquah was dead, buried, lying in the Presbyterian cemetery at Chebi. How could he be minutes away?
Thank you for the clarification. So that if tomorrow somebody comes up with all this argument, we have this to show to them.
And all those propagandists, please, let them keep quiet. And personally, it pains me whenever people try to distort facts and history, particularly because of the youth. I just cannot stay aloof when the youth are being misled by facts that can be easily verified. They are statistical in the annals of history. How can anybody say this? They say that he was also a CIA agent and spy for the CIA. You know, you cannot be a spy unless you are in the position to gather confidential information. A spy is an insider. Was he an insider in Nkrumah's government? So he couldn't spy. Because what will you be spying? If you're a cabinet minister, if you're a member of the Central Committee of the CPP, and so on, then you can spy. Because you have access to knowledge that others will not have. Is that not so? He was an outsider, much of the time in detention, always being followed. Can a man like that be a spy? Spying for whom? And in what way? He could not have been a spy. The CIA will not need him because there was nothing he could tell them that they can find by other means.
Sir, your final words.
My final word is that let us give everybody his due in history. When J.B. Danquah and others founded the UGCC in 1947, with all due respect to Nkrumah, he was not even in Ghana. And they founded it to give independence to Ghana. Nkrumah came, he added to it. He was a very great organizer, very good organizer, and he did a great job. But when you come to talk about founding, he did not found Ghana. At best, he was one of those who helped to do what? To found the nation called Ghana. Someday, we should give everybody his due. In fact, Nkrumah deserves a holiday as the first president and a great man, an African for that matter. But the founding fathers, including him, must be given their pride of place in the history of this country as what? The founding fathers of this good country, Ghana. He gave us our name. He did the research and brought the name Ghana. He gave us the eagle, which is our national emblem. And he helped to develop the Constitution, which Constitution was not accepted by Nkrumah because it was a liberal democratic constitution, but which Constitution was brought back by Akufo-Addo in 1969. And it became the cornerstone of the 1979 Constitution and also the essence of the 1992 Constitution. Today, you can't detain a Ghanaian without trial. Today, a Ghanaian insists on her fundamental human rights. Today, we talk about Kebima min Kebiamai, Ifirihi, Ifiri Danquah.
Thank you very much, sir.